The St. Louis Cardinals earned a shutout victory over the New York Mets and were led by a guy who hadn't won a game since July of 2025. This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafron, and on today's show, we're going to dip into the minor leagues. We're going to go down to AAA. We're going to hit the farm and go check in on some of the Cardinals prospects and how they're doing so far in the early going of the AAA season. Memphis off to a pretty hot start. We've got your 3 stars from Tuesday night's game against the Mets, so let's break it down. And for this game, there's only one place to start, and that is with the pitching staff, and that is with your starter, Andre Pallante. Now, remember, Pallante is a guy that went 6-15 last year. I don't know, you probably tried to forget it because it was bad. 6-15 last year. He was 1-12 over his last 16 starts. Needless to say, confidence all-time low, if not completely shattered by what transpired in 2025. That season chewed him up and spit him out, and the Cardinals were left with, I don't know what. And after witnessing what we saw in 2025, most fans wanted him gone. Not just out of the rotation, but like banished to the shadow realm. Somewhere that he could never, ever touch a mound again as a member of the St. Louis Cardinals. But I tried to warn you. Everydayers know this. He's 27 years old. He certainly has got some arm talent. We've seen him have success in the big leagues before. So I assume that they weren't just going to get rid of this dude. They are not going to give up on him. And they didn't. And they shouldn't have. They decided that they wanted to see him compete for a spot on the roster. They're like, look, come back to camp. Obviously, you're under contract. Come back to camp and, let's see what you got. See what's left in the tank. Hopefully 2025 didn't destroy you completely. And not only did Andre Pallante pitch his way onto the roster, but he was able to beat out Richard Fitz, the guy they got from Boston in the Sonny Gray deal. Beat him out fair and square for that final spot in the rotation. And then on Tuesday, he makes his first start of the season after a really good spring. Does it against a potent Mets offense. Some big names in that lineup. Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, Bo Bichette. Expensive guys. Talented guys. And Andre Pallante was very impressive. And when Andre Pallante is on his A game, when he's getting a ton of ground balls. And in his 5 innings of work on Tuesday, he got 9 ground ball outs. How many? How many times did he get ground ball outs? 9 times. Allowed just 3 hits. He walked 3. He struck out 3. Very Andre Pallante type of line. He went out for the 6th inning, gave up a leadoff double to Soto. He walked Bichette, and that's when Ali came out and took him out and got him after 88 pitches. Not a single right-handed hitter got a hit against him on Tuesday. And he had the Mets pounding the ball into the grass in front of home plate over and over and over again. It was a beautiful thing to watch. When he's got that good sink on the ball, he's tough to square up. Bullpen-wise, we know they have been putting it lightly. They've been shaky, but they did their part as well. After Ali lifts Pallante, he goes to Gordon Graceffo, who had just been called up on Tuesday to replace Matt Pushard, who was placed on the 15-day IL. He's got right knee patellar tendonitis. So we'll see how he recoups from that. But what's different this year compared to years in the past is the Cardinals actually got some depth down at AAA. That if somebody goes down, they've got some guys who are ready to step up. But he brings Graceffo in. No big deal, right? Hey, we're going to call you up, and immediately we throw you into the fire. 2 on, nobody out, nursing a 2-run lead. But Graceffo doesn't falter. He gets Luis Robert Jr. to fly out to center. And then what ended up being probably the most pivotal play in the game, because the Mets are starting to push here. And Jared Young comes out, lines out to Masyn Winn at shortstop, who uncorks a laser beam so quick, like as far as liner, uncorks this laser beam over to first base and doubles off Bichette at first to end the inning. You know, Masyn Winn may be struggling with the bat, having tough times at the plate right now, but he has not let that affect what he's doing in the field. His defense has been great. Huge momentum swing for the Cardinals because it felt like they were about to tip and the Mets were going to take the lead and were about to do some damage. And just like that, Gordon Graceffo gets him out of it. Fantastic job, right? We go to the rest of the bullpen. Ryan Stanek comes in next. 7th inning. He's in the 7th this time instead of the 9th already. Ollie moving some things around, shuffling things up. Once again, he made things a little bit sweaty by walking Marcus Semien. Was up 0-2 on him and ends up walking him. But then he gets the rookie Benj swinging to strike out. And then he has a 7-pitch battle with Francisco Alvarez. And I'll be honest, if you're on video right now, I'll try to show you my pinky fingers. I chewed these fingernails off just in that at bat alone. I was dialed in like, oh boy, come on, get out of this. And he barely got out of it. Got Alvarez to fly out deep to center field. Victor Scott tracks it down. My heart skipped a beat when that ball came off the bat at first. But Stanek, 22 pitches. He was all over the place. But effectively wild, we could say, I guess, puts up a 0. And then it was JoJo Romero and Riley O'Brien back in their normal 8th and 9th inning roles where we all thought they were going to be to start the season, and that's not what happened, but here they were. And they look great. They look very comfortable in those spots. The bullpen doesn't allow a single hit. Not a hit. Only one base runner ends up getting on against them and wraps up a 3-0 victory. So bravo, boys. Bravo. And I know it's easy for us to freak out over things early on in the season. Okay? The word fan is short for fanatics. It's what we do. It's what we do as fans. We're going to get wild and crazy and upset about things right away. We're going to get overly excited about things right away as well. That's just the nature of sports in general. Okay? But as I've said from the get-go, Ollie is going to figure out who fits which roles in this bullpen eventually. They're all going to settle in. He's going to know what buttons to push as the season continues. They'll figure out their spots, and then they'll move forward together. All right? So he's still playing around with things. Like he wanted to see if the veteran Stanek could be that closer guy. Did not work out in his first 2 appearances. It was a little dicey in this one. But he was where I thought they were going to be using him in the beginning of the season. I thought he was going to be kind of that 7th inning guy. So there he is. And the same thing goes for the lineup. You know, we're going to talk about that a little bit and a whole lot more when we go through the 3 stars of the game because we're going to mention some offensive guys because that's what we do. So that's coming your way next here on Locked On Cardinals. MLB season is back and you can feel it. We got fresh starts. We got new expectations. Of course, those first cracks of the bat are always awesome to hear. And whether it's you're checking out the breakout rookie, J.J. Weatherholt, or witnessing Nolan Gorman blasting balls over the wall, there's nothing like being at the ballpark for the experience. The only problem is, you know, getting tickets can be a little bit of a grind. Long queues, surprise fees, prices jumping at checkout. No bueno. You don't want that. And that's where Game Time steps up. The Game Time app is going to give you, the fans, the advantage with constant innovations, just how you unlock these amazing tickets and experiences. You can do it in just a few taps. Very simple to use. Game Time guarantee comes with it. Means you get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. And the best part is, again, fees are included in the price you see. There's no sneaky things that they add at the end of it all. What you see is what you pay, period. Set to your whatever teams that are your favorite teams. You can have that where you get alerts about everything that has to do with their games, whether it's at home, whether it's on the road. You got zone deals that pop up. You get to view your seats before you purchase. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Check it out for yourself. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Baseball is finally back, and to celebrate, we're giving you a full month of the Everydayer Club for free. Go to LockedOnSTLCardinals.supercast.com. Use the code FINALLY, FINALLY. You'll unlock every episode ad-free. You're going to get access to our private listener group chat. Just tap the link in the show notes. Use code FINALLY. Claim your free month now. Time for our 3 stars from the game on Tuesday night. #1 star in this win over the Mets, it's Andre Pallante. It's Andre Pallante. 5 shutout innings. Come on. 9 ground ball outs. The only real blemishes were the walks. That's really the only thing you're complaining about here. 1 in the first to Luis Robert Jr., 1 to Francisco Lindor in the 3rd, and then the last one to Bo Bichette in the 6th inning when he was on fumes, and Ali came and got him after that. He never got into one of those situations where, when it comes with those walks, where he was walking the leadoff guy, which we know is a big no-no. Didn't do it. He was about as good as you can expect from Andre Pallante. All right. Again, you saw what he was last year. It was a nightmare. It was awful. Everything was bad. Tuesday night, that Andre Pallante, I'm completely cool with him being your 5th guy in the rotation. He was excellent. So tip of the cap to him. Hopefully he can stay consistent with this throughout the season. Okay. Because that's been one of the issues with Andre is that consistently he can't stay at that level. We'll see if he can do it here in 2026. Second star of the game, we're going to give this one to our catcher, Ivan Herrera. Now, this is something that people forget about because you were always thinking about Ivan Herrera's bat. Ivan Herrera was behind the plate for a shutout win over the New York Mets. Called a great game with the entire pitching staff, not just Pallante, but the bullpen. But he also had the biggest hit of the night when he ripped the 2-run double off Kodai Senga in that 3rd inning to give the Cardinals the lead that they would never relinquish. It was the only hit of the game for Ivan, but he also walked twice. So he's on base 3 times in this game ahead of Alec Burleson, which is exactly what you want to see out of the #2 hole hitter. And I mentioned the lineup earlier, and when discussing the possible shuffle of some guys, we know Herrera has struggled early on. But again, I don't like making excuses, but this is real. He was coming back from an elbow injury, so he had to get used to that again. Then he deals with that knee injury. That knocks him out for a little bit. So he's working to get his timing back. So technically, Ivan Herrera is in the last week and a half of spring training as far as timing-wise compared to everybody else. So you trust Ivan Herrera. I do. I think you do too. So you just kind of knew it was going to take a little bit for him to get his timing back. And hopefully what we saw on Tuesday night is a sign of things to come from Ivan, who obviously is going to play a crucial role in this lineup as not only protection for J.J. Weatherholt at the top of the order, but also doing what he did on Tuesday, getting on in front of Alec Burleson so that Burley is coming up and having a chance to knock in runs and do some damage. Your 3rd star of the game. Give it up for Victor Scott II. Victor Scott II, 0 for 3 on Monday. Remember, 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. You're like, ooh, what was that? And I was like, I don't know if he was just having trouble picking up the ball. I don't know what was going on with him, but turns around on Tuesday, puts Monday's 0 for 3 and the 3 strikeouts in the rearview mirror, comes back on Tuesday, goes 2 for 3 with a run scored, including the leadoff double in that 3rd inning to get things cooking for the top of the lineup. If I asked you, and be honest, if I asked you to tell me who right now was leading the Cardinals in hits and batting average, who would you say? Most people would answer Alec Burleson, J.J. Weatherholt, right? No, you'd be wrong. The answer is Victor Scott II. Victor Scott II, following Tuesday's efforts, is now 7 for 16, is hitting .438, which is the 7th highest batting average in the entire league right now. Entire league. Now, we know the defense for Victor is elite. We know his speed is elite. Could he get on base enough to put that speed to work? That was the real question. And I know it's early on. These numbers aren't going to stay here. We know that. But so far, he's been doing what we all hoped he would be able to do. And that's be that second leadoff guy down there in the number 9 hole that can unsettle pitchers a little bit with that base running ability and make life a lot easier for the top of the lineup when he flips that lineup over and he's on base in front of JJ and Ivan and Burley and giving them some run producing at bats. He's been fantastic. He's had the one bad game really on Monday. Outside of that, he's been kind of awesome offensively. Base hits, putting the ball in play, laying down bunts, stealing some bags. He's been exactly what you were looking for. Let's hope he keeps it up, right? Honorable mention to Ramon Urías. Urías. Everybody says it differently. I don't even know if there is a right way, but Urías is kind of how phonetically it's spelled. But he clobbered his first home run as a Cardinal in the 7th inning to add a little insurance. 409-footer off the lefty Richard Lovelady. I know you want to say the jokes. I do too. We're going to move on. We'll be mature. The hope is that, Urías can be the guy to fill in when any of your infielders need a day off their feet. You hear Ollie say that all the time. Well, we want to get them off their feet for a day. So he's going to be quite important there because he can play third, short, second. I even think he dabbles at first base if you need to. Valuable defensive substitute late in games where you want to pull Gorman and you want to put Ramon over at third base. That will be a smart thing. You're going to see that happen quite a bit, I'd imagine. And also a guy that can do some damage against lefties. We know that the infield is lefty heavy. Burley lefty, JJ lefty, Gorman lefty. So there's going to be times where you need Ramon to get in there and swing it against a left-handed pitcher when they go to the bullpen when the opposition does. So certainly did some damage on Tuesday, so good for him. JJ Weatherhold also had 2 more hits and is now batting 300 on the year. 3rd inning, he followed up that leadoff double by Victor Scott with a base hit to center field. Victor had to hold up, so he only got to third base, but the throw from center field from Luis Robert Jr., it sails over the cutoff man's head, and I don't know if the first base coach, I don't know if it was JJ's thought process, but the guy never slowed down. He just boom, and went right to second base. Super smart base running, scooted right into the number 2 bag to make it second and third with nobody out. Your next hitter is Ivan Herrera, who ends up doubling. But thanks to JJ's great base running, it allowed him to score easily on that double from second base instead of, possibly getting stuck at third base if he had been on first instead. So fantastic base running. Fundamentals, smart, beautiful. You love it. Burley 0 for 2, 2 walks. And I told you, if they continue to put Masyn Winn as the cleanup hitter behind Alec Burleson, Burley is not going to see a whole lot to hit. And they pitched around him a couple times. He walks twice, and they'd rather deal with Masyn Winn. And it worked out for the Mets both times. Masyn Winn has had 12 at-bats with runners on base this season. He is 1 for 12 with 4 strikeouts. And when he's come up with runners in scoring position, he is 0 for 8. Basically the exact opposite of what you want from your cleanup hitter. It's not working. And I wonder if Ollie's just going to give it to the end of the series. Obviously, you got one final game, and then you get the day off on Thursday. I wonder if he switches things around in the weekend series in Detroit. I wonder if that's what happens. So, but it ain't working. It ain't working at all. Up next, we're going to check in on the prospects down in Memphis. Plus, Hunter Dobbins got his first start for the Redbirds on Tuesday night. How did he fare? We'll talk about it next on Locked On Cardinals. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood Prediction Markets. Now, it's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. You use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood Prediction Markets changes the game. It's people moving the action, so when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood. Now available across the U.S., download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. It is tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment, not the most convenient thing. Sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers. Nah. Emailing back and forth and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. It's over. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in, meeting a real person, and walking out knowing that your taxes are being handled right. Head to TurboTax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. Once again, TurboTax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. All right, AAA minor league season got started over the weekend. Your Memphis Redbirds won all 3 games against Gwinnett. They won them by the scores of 3-0, 3-2, 6-5. Tuesday night, they pummeled Norfolk 10-5. They're now 4-0 on the season. What did we say during spring training? There's a lot of talent in this farm system, and there's going to be a lot of talent going down to Memphis to start the year. Cardinals got some good young talent, obviously, up at the major league level, but they got a lot of depth down there at AAA Memphis, and they're going to have a pretty good squad. Those are my exact words. And so far, I am predicting this correctly. Again, early on, but 4-0. Can't start any better than that. Offensively, let's start with your catchers, Jimmy Crooks, Leo Bernal. Crooks is hitting .364, absolutely mashing, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. Bernal hitting .313 with an RBI. Blaze Jordan off to a scorching start. Remember in the beginning of spring training, Blaze Jordan, like he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat, but started to get a little hot there at the end of spring training, which was a bummer because they, after a couple of games where he was really stinging the ball, they sent him down to minor league camp. We get to see him anymore. Well, he has carried that over to the regular season, is now hitting .545 with a home run and 2 ribbies and 3 runs scored in just 11 at-bats. Hit that home run on Tuesday night. Infielder Cesar Prieto hitting .500 thus far. 2 home runs, 3 ribbies and 10 at-bats. Ramon Mendoza is hitting .313. 1 home run, 3 RBIs. The guys that it's actually been a bit of a slow start are the guys in the outfield. Bigger names, guys that we talked a lot about in spring training. Joshua Baez, Nelson Velázquez, Colton Ledbetter. Baez hitting just .231 thus far. No home runs, 2 ribbies. He does have a stolen base. Nelly, the star of spring training, the guy that we all got bent out of shape over because he didn't make the major league roster. He has not done anything. You and I have as many hits as Nelson Velázquez does so far in the regular season. He's 0 for 11. With 5 strikeouts. That's more like the guy that he used to be when he was in the Cubs and the Royals organization, not the guy we saw this spring. So I don't know, maybe mentally a little upset that he didn't make the major league roster and things are a little bit off kilter for him. Colton Ledbetter also struggling, hitting just .167 after a good spring. But Matt Koperniak, veteran minor leaguer, leads the club with 5 RBIs. Pitching side of things, a lot of walks for the starters so far. Bryson Mott's 5 innings, 1 run, 2 hits, 6 Ks, but 4 walks. Richard Fitz, 4 2/3 innings, no runs, 2 hits, 3 Ks, 4 walks. Bruce Zimmerman, the veteran, 4 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, 5 Ks, 3 walks. Hunter Dobbins got his first start on Tuesday night. He goes 5 innings, gives up 3 runs on 3 hits. One of those was a home run. He hit a batter, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. He did get the win, so congratulations. Most of the bullpen arms have been excellent. Ryan Fernandez, Scott Blewett, Luis Gastelum, Skylar Hales, Max Ratchick, Gabriel Moreno, Gordon Graceffo before he got called up. All of those guys, none of them have given up an earned run yet over the first 4 games of their season. Springfield and Peoria will get started this upcoming weekend. So we'll be able to see how guys like Rodriguez and Liam Doyle, how they fare early on. But a really nice start for the crew in Memphis. So well done, Memphis Redbirds. Keep it going. As far as the NL Central goes, the Pirates knock off the Reds 8-3 on Tuesday. O'Neal Cruz goes yard twice. Bubba Chandler throws 4 1/3 innings of no-hit ball. But he was like Nuke LaLoosh on the mound, man. He struck out 6. He also walked 6. So not the most efficient start for one of the best young starting pitchers in Major League Baseball, Bubba Chandler. But the Pirates end up getting the win. Brewers beat the Rays 6-2. Brandon Woodruff got the W for the Brew Crew in that one. CB Buckner made one of the dumbest umpiring calls you may have ever seen, where he accused the runner who was going to first base of not touching first base and called him out. And so the Brewers challenge, and he stepped right on the base. Like, CB Buckner has got to be trying to get the Angel Hernandez payday. He's got to be. I don't understand how this dude is still an umpire. Like, how can we continue to have this happen overall? It's ridiculous. Like, he's an embarrassment. He's an embarrassment to all umpires, even the T-ball kids. Like, it's ridiculous. But anyway, Brewers get the win. Cubs get blanked by the Angels 2-0 at Wrigley. Former Cardinal Phil Maton took the loss in relief. So your standings after 5 games has got the Brewers in first at 4-1, followed by the Reds and Cardinals at 3-2, and then your Pirates and Cubs are at 2-3. Cardinals will wrap up the homestand on Wednesday in an afternoon tilt, early afternoon, I should say, with the Mets. Matthew Liberatore will get the start against former Brewers ace Freddie Peralta, who over the years, the Cardinals haven't done all that bad. They've fared pretty well against them. He's only 5-6 in 20 games against them. 16 of those games were starts. He's got a career ERA of 4.67 against them. But asterisk here, they have not beat him since 2023. So last couple seasons, he is undefeated against them. So we'll see how it all plays out at Busch Stadium. First pitch at 12:15 St. Louis time. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give us a follow on X at @LO_Cardinals. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram. We always putting the shorts and the reels up there for you guys at Locked On Cardinals. Like, subscribe on YouTube. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club built for you. Get Locked On Cardinals ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Full free month available right now if you use that code FINALLY. Head to LockedOnSTLCardinals.supercast.com to join the club. For those of you on video, we'll send you to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure your second listen is Locked On MLB. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason, and we will see you next time on Locked On Cardinals, hopefully talking about a series win over the New York Mets. We'll find out together.